All right, guys, welcome. We're doing a tier list video, joined with everyone on the team. Jason, Carmen, Nico, Dean, Kit. We're all here. We're doing a Japanese tier list.
I am setting a hard cap to this video because I think we can actually be here all fucking night if we don't set a hard cap. Right,
so
I'm setting a hard cap of 70 minutes.
70 minutes.
Let's stop. After 70 minutes, I'm going to say stop.
All right, so we sort through the garbage first, right? Get it.
Is that how we're starting?
Yuna irrelevant.
Yuna?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Yuna. Wait, this is Yuna, right? Yep.
So we're just gonna go
through irrelevant.
TLR.
TLR irrelevant. Star Wars irrelevant.
Are we ordering these tiers or no?
Well, irrelevant tier probably not. Tier 1, tier 2, maybe tier 3 we can do order. But
okay, right now just dumping it.
Okay. Irrelevant. Get it out of here.
What is irrelevant?
Loves it. Steins Gate.
Steins Gate.
Also, Sneaker.
Steins Gate. Brillia.
On the bottom.
Steins Gate. Brillia. Sneaker.
Yeah. Steins Gate.
Sneaker.
No game, no life.
I'm over here innovating with Steins Gate. You're not going to put that in tier 3.
Just wait.
JoJo's irrelevant.
Are we putting Symphogear down here?
Yeah, Symphogear's irrelevant.
Symphogear's irrelevant. JoJo's is also irrelevant.
No, SMP's like tier 3.
SMP is tier 3.
Yeah.
What else we have?
We can talk about SMP, the strongest day.
Sneakers next to SMP though. That's garbage. That's unplayable.
Oh, unplayable. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's Sneaker.
Brillia irrelevant.
Yeah, Brillia.
P5's irrelevant.
Yeah, P5 is irrelevant. I would say in the JP format.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because this is JP.
True.
Fate Stay Night is irrelevant.
No, I think Monogatari is like a solid tier. No. Fate Stay Night's actually probably a solid tier 3 deck. It still gets to do what it does, at the bare minimum.
Monogatari though.
Frank's is irrelevant.
Monogatari's down there.
Monogatari has JC though, man.
Does that make it relevant at all?
JC and heel looping? Odds of stuff?
It might be tier 3. We'll discuss it. GGO irrelevant.
GGO, ATO irrelevant.
I love GGL, but
Gurren Lagann.
Apocrypha.
IMAX, get the hell out of here.
Cinderella Girls, get it out of here.
Cinderella Girls.
JoJo's. Get JoJo.
Wait, JoJo's on this list? What the heck? It's out of here.
Not Fujimi. Frank.
I would actually say Da Capo's irrelevant.
Yeah, Da Capo's irrelevant for now.
Yeah, Frank's
is irrelevant. Yeah, Frank's is...
DC's out.
Clanad.
Is Clanad irrelevant? I didn't see it.
I actually didn't look at the new cards.
If you're gonna call Steins Gate irrelevant, Clanad's irrelevant.
Clanad's got new stuff, right?
Yeah, Clanad.
Okay.
Angel Beats is not relevant.
Okay.
Get rid of Angel Beats.
Oh,
okay.
Is the new Angel Beats stuff garbage?
Yeah, Angel Beats is not relevant.
Yeah,
really?
It didn't get anything.
You guys sure?
I thought the standby shit was pretty pog.
No, it sucks. Get it out of here.
It's out of here?
Alright. The majority, I'll concede or whatever.
Alright.
Clanad. I'm trying to think about Clanad. Cool. I don't think it got enough stuff to even be.
I think that's everything that we could consider shit tier, right?
I get is Nanoha tier. Hold on, is Nanoha tier 3 or irrelevant?
Ryan has kept shoving Nanoha in my face as a tier 2, so I'm starting to be swayed that it is bottom of tier 2. Maybe
hold on, all right. So it does have a lot of stuff that can go to memory. So
yeah, maybe.
Memory Nanoha tier 1, boys.
It's just it has a lot of good looping and stuff. We can talk about it later. I think it's minimum tier 3.
Okay.
Ryan has sold me on it.
Okay, let's go to tier 3. Vivid Strike.
No. I think Alicization and Vivid Strike.
Alicization.
No. Vivid Strike right now. I don't know, I've been thinking about it. I think it's tier 3.
What does it do? What does it do to
constitute? It cards to memory.
It's cards to memory. Damn it.
Does it?
Memory Vivid Strike.
No. Vivid Strike.
It combats. Yeah, go ahead, Dean.
So okay. Right now, I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't play anything to actually answer early plays in Japanese.
That is very true. That is something I was going to bring up later.
Even better, you have hexproof to middle, which means that Day Live, you can actually sit on your
You can sit on a Fuka.
You can sit on a Fuka, and that's pretty cool.
All right. I'll leave it tier 3.
So, because Vivid Strike goes in the same tier.
Top end is pretty cool. Top end is pretty cool. No, I think Hinolaji is actually better than Vivid Strike right now.
The fact that we've gone out of this board-based meta for the most part, and you can find reverses, Vivid Strike, I think it's okay.
have we got out of the board-based meta when like a bunch of the top decks have like JC and stuff? Right now,
like... no. So like right now, what the top decks that have JC are like Saikano and Grisaia, which are the really strong decks in the meta. But
and then Konasuba is also playing Megumin Bouncer.
You have Megumin Bouncer, sure, but like
what? And then you have like Dal that's walling up on you.
It depends on what Dal you're playing, yeah. Because some people do play Choice Standby.
Goblin Slayer. If you play against that, you're not killing Goblin Slayer things.
I think at that point you're just.
I
know people hate using the word tempo, but you're probably just trying to hit one in those matchups.
I think tier 3 is like the garbage like fire tier that's like
no, I don't think tier 3. The way I would look at tier 3 is one of those things where it's like if you like this enough, you could take this with you to like an event. But I also wouldn't go in like expecting to
win or
necessarily always win the event.
Actually, that's
like if you
go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, that's all I really had to say about it.
Okay, because I was gonna say we didn't actually start off this video discussing what each tier means, which is I think really important.
We just started dumping.
Yeah, we just like all of this is garbage.
Irrelevant. It's not relevant anyway.
Irrelevant's irrelevant. It speaks for itself.
Yeah. So we're gonna just define the tiers that way everyone's on the same page as us, and we don't have people complaining like, why is this in tier 3 for obvious reasons. All right. So tier 1, I think we're all in agreement. Tier 1 is a type of deck where if you bring it to a regional or something, you expect to win with it, right? And if it's like should easily make top 8 for you or whatever, right? Anyone disagree?
Yeah.
Pretty accurate.
All right. I think tier 2 is somewhere in between where like this deck can easily make cut, but it might struggle against some of the tier 1 sets.
Yeah,
we all agree with that.
Yep. Yeah, I still label it as solid though, so like it's not
it's good enough.
It never feels truly awful to play.
Yeah,
except in like some specific matchups or something.
You're lacking maybe key cards that make you
tier 1
a more relevant meta threat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then tier 3 is like the stuff that's immediately like starting to fall out.
It's a playable deck, but it has
a lot of it has like a lot of weaknesses to tier 1 decks. They can kind of challenge tier 2 decks, but then after that, it just kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's like the gap between tier 1 and tier 3 is like is pretty large, I think. But
tier 3 is like barely holding on.
Tier 3 is like if you really wanted to bring this with you, like sure, it's functional enough that it's like you could maybe get somewhere. Like you could maybe squeak a top 8 with this kind of.
You would still like struggle very heavily against tier 1, and you're probably still struggling a lot against tier 2 as well.
Then yeah, that's perfect for Vivid Strike.
Yeah, I'm saying Vivid Strike's probably like a tier 3.
Okay.
Like, all right, if you made a good point, I think it's probably at least a tier 3.
And you put Hinolaji in the same because both of those decks like.
No, I think Hinolaji's actually like way better right now.
Okay, I don't.
Okay, we'll get to it. We'll just go bottom to top.
Do you own Hinolaji?
I think let's kind of split it up a little bit. Let's go bottom to top for a few, and then we'll go top to bottom for a few.
Sure.
So hold on. All right, let's do this. So we'll start off with Slan. I think this is tier 1 pretty easily.
Yeah,
I was like, the deck is super solid, consistent, compresses in memory, so there's not a lot of stuff that interacts with it.
Bottom right.
Has free memory as well.
Yeah.
Has free memory. The things that are actually costed that go to memory are costed like fairly and are valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does everything it wants to be doing. It can do what it wants to do every game, whether the game is good or bad. It has like all the kind of cards you could actually want out of a set.
Yeah,
honestly. So it's just there's no question. I think
good trigger spread on like what you would call the meta deck. So it's like it's deck's pretty good.
Has a good option for a top end if it wanted a more like a more finishing power oriented top end.
It kind of has that two different builds it can go with whatever you like, right? So
very strong. Summer Pockets.
Summer Pockets is tier 3.
Tier 3.
It pains me to say it. Yeah. The deck has too many problems nowadays to where like if your Shirohawk board gets answered, you just kind of lose the game.
It was already like on its way to being very poorly positioned, and then Data Live happened, and now it's just like you can't play Shiroha.
Shiroha is so volatile because it's like it has the same problem as Overlord, and it's why I think Overlord is probably like same tier when we get to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like it relies on sticking this board, and if it sticks to the board, it's a great deck. But if it loses the board, you're running on empty. You're like, oh my god, this game's over.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a lot of like answers to things. Like sometimes you just you can't like mitigate bad situations. You're just like, oh well, I have all these climaxes in my hand. Where's my drop search? Where do I get rid of these climaxes?
Sounds about right.
Cross fingers for Reflection Blue.
The drop search is not in your deck because, well, if we're talking about Overlord, because it costs $25.
Oh god.
I played 2.
Oh man.
Rich
Sakura Tyson.
Probably
tier 3.
Yeah.
Wait, is that not irrelevant?
That deck seems terrible.
So the deck has legitimately a lot of like good cards. What it lacks
Ricky is
like,
nuts.
Ricky is amazing. Its level 3 combo is actually like very solid. It's level 1 for a level 1 combo for like a standby level 1 combo. It's actually pretty sick because it's legitimately just better Kaide.
Yeah.
Because you can't play around the reverse thing because it's the pseudo fever thing. It's pretty cool. It's just all the other tools outside of its level 1 combo and its level 3 combo and the Ricky are like pretty whatever.
Yeah.
But like it has just enough where it's like you can lose to this. Like you can just actually get beat out by this.
Yeah.
So it's not something you can just look at and be like, sick joke, and then just like roll over it. So
yeah, not a great deck, unfortunately.
Would not invest in it unless you really liked it. But it's there. It's cool, I guess. Door standby cool.
This next placement is, I think this is pretty obvious.
Easy.
Tier 1.
Easy tier 1. Probably still best deck in the format.
Has
even
everything.
With Finalized release.
It has literally everything. It's just very frustrating. Memory is cool. Yada yada. Probably kicked off the entire memory format single-handedly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never gonna get touched thanks to Daily Live.
Yeah.
Well, I think the memory thing with the sets that came out, whether Saikano did it or not, it was probably just a natural progression based on how sets are being printed. But I think Saikano exacerbated the need for it and like the relevance of it, where it was like, holy crap, Saikano's doing this and it's so oppressive. Let me do it too. And then everybody realized, oh my god, all these sets are getting memory cards. I can be them. I can be Saikano.
I feel like those are the two most like clear cut.
Yeah, they're the two. Right? They're the two. Grisaia and Grisaia.
Yeah, Grisaia as well.
Yeah.
Those 3 are the biggest ones.
It definitely feels like if you're not playing Saikano or Saikano Light, you're probably going to struggle in this format.
Yeah, you're probably at least or if you're probably at least a tier 2 deck. If you have to be doing something like pretty insane, I think. Like that.
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of tier 1 decks that don't do what like Saikano.
Yeah, but they just have such an overwhelming quality card pool.
Yeah.
That they get to pretend to be better or be as good, I guess. But yeah, all right. Bunny Girl, I think Bunny Girl's tier 2, maybe tier 1. It might be like the bottom of tier 1. It has some really good cards. So it's like it'd be like the gap I think between like comparing Saikano and Slime to Bunny Girl is large enough where it's like, but when I think about what I would be putting in tier 2, I think it's notably better than all those cards. Shoko is such a fucking strong top end. The choice combo we saw in Sword Art with a Temp Annie is like actually obscene, and Bunny Girl already had so many good cards and it's only gotten more. Like I finally got the play set of set 2 today. And after watching people play it and playing with it myself, oh my god, this stuff is so gross. It just feels like it has like so many good tools. It's just lacking the memory and whatever to like push it further into like that free compression zone or whatever. But Shoko fits that decompression tool that you kind of probably need in this format. And it's also nice because it doesn't actually like hurt your resources a lot because it doesn't cost hand, so you can actually play around things like Grisaia and you're not crying about it because you don't really need hand, so you can actually afford to burn your hand to heal, which I think being able to play around Grisaia is also something that's pretty noteworthy right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I would probably put it minimum top of B tier, but like I would lean it on the bottom of A tier.
I think it would probably be tier 2 for me, but I don't have a lot of experience.
I feel like
I've just been watching a lot of it lately, so I'm like really seeing what it can do because a lot of people in like card games and stuff have been playing it and like grinding with it lately. For whatever reason, I don't even know what the spark came from on it, but like
Should leave it at the top of tier 2.
I'm gonna leave it at the top of tier 2.
We can move it at
we'll move it at the end when we rearrange stuff. But I feel like Jason like hit a lot of the notes. I think of the same thing. I just don't know if I would put it in tier 1, but it's definitely like a contender of maybe bottom of tier 1. All right.
So SAO.
All right. I
probably tier. I think this is tier 3.
I think it's tier 2.
No, I think it's tier 3.
I would say tier 2.
I think it just does. It just again, it's one of those things that just has too much. Like it just it gets carried by its. No, like even it even topped one of the things recently. Not that like I don't think WGPs matter all too much in reality, like because they're still the super locals even in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think like whenever I think of SAO is just such a safe pick that it's like it does what it does like really well, and it still fits in the meta of like the heal stall and whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think like Yukidore, Yuki Standby, whatever, like are both pretty like solid, especially in Japanese. It has a lot of good tools.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like
you can play like that solitaire aggression pretty easily.
Yeah.
Right? So and
it has like a lot.
It has decent like tools to just like turbo through its deck if need be and find the pieces it needs. Like I can probably agree it's like in tier 2. I don't think it's very high up tier 2, but it's like.
No, it'd be like lower down, but it's definitely one of those sets that if we're going by the things we described, I could see somebody taking this to a regional, and like making it somewhere with it, right? Like you could legitimately see people making like top 8 with this deck.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a very
this deck is also very like
boring,
player intensive. I would say. You cannot be making a lot of mistakes when you're playing this.
I would agree.
Yep.
Skill intensive, but the payoff is pretty good for when you're good, if you're good enough with it.
I'm fine with like I'm fine with like low tier 2. I think that's still all right.
All right,
SAO 10
tier 1.
Tier 1 though.
Yeah, easy placement.
Do we put it?
Yeah.
Literally, you read these SAO 10th cards, and you're just like, but why does it have all these effects?
This is one of those sets where it's like we just talked about it, where there are these tier 1 sets that don't have the memory engine, but have good enough cards to masquerade as tier 1.
Yeah, like it has
other decks,
right? And it just
I think SAO 10th is like the epitome of that kind of set.
One of those things about SAO 10th too is I forget the guy's name. The thing that goes to memory and shuts off Encore is actually Heathcliff is really strong because it has a strong effect, and then when it's in memory, you just get this extra effect attached to it, which you don't really have to play around, but your opponent does. And right now there are a lot of like top tier sets that run around with early plays that have Encore randomly. Like Rev Starlight has it, Slime has it. Konasuba has it, so like suddenly shutting off hand encore on these early play level 3s kind of hurts those sets.
And just getting to sometimes deny your and it also kind of like really guts the lower tier decks. Like it really puts them in their place, because then it's like you put them down, and then you're like, by the way, you can't even pay 3 encore your stuff. just out. You're just like, you're gone. It's really it's a very like just obnoxiously solid like set as a whole. Let alone like choice pants. I think it's worse than Slime personally.
Yeah,
I just think Slime has a very clear-cut game plan, but SAO 10 does actually have a really good finisher though. Which
Slime
I think
plays better into the current meta.
Yeah,
you think
I
so?
think like
memory, baby.
Yeah.
I would put it as slightly under Slime.
I think that's really close. Like,
I think they're close. I think those are probably like the 3
very different strategies.
Maybe Dow between SAO and Slime, but maybe.
Oh, I was about to say Dow between Saikano and Slime, but we can talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. Okay. Memory Snow.
I would put this in 3 or almost irrelevant.
Yeah, I was about to say that
this is actually so bad.
Irrelevant.
I'm actually surprised, because I would actually also probably put it as irrelevant, just because like the deck's not very good.
It has so many good tools though.
Let's do it.
It has Grisaia, and that's about it.
It has Grisaia. It still has like a competent level 1 combo. It's still an interactive check 3 add 1 combo.
It has like a lot of good tools, and then like
the memory healer,
and then also like the top end choices on it are like randomly okay going into this meta, because everyone's so hyper compressed your memory and stuff. Like if you do like the REM top in, even if you do like the REM top in, you always find climaxes to send a clock, right? So I don't know.
The anti stuff is also just kind of neat. Is like nice to have, I guess. Like it exists, right? It also still plays memory, so it's fitting in the niche as well there. I think it's borderline tier 3. But
I think the problem with this deck though is I don't know if you guys have ever played it or seen this deck played too much.
I owned it.
Maybe I've only seen like too many unskilled players like Dean play it. I love you, Dean. But it's like legitimately, it almost feels like this deck never has any stock. So you guys check out my sick memory compression of like 4 cards. By the way, I got 2 stock.
Really? I've never had it be that bad. I was usually sitting on like 6 stock most of the time. by the end. Rem as a combo.
If I don't get
six stock is literally not enough to do.
Well, you're never doing triple Rem, right? Rem.
You're never doing triple of a combo. The top check's 3 on play. What?
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like the cost is high enough, so you're not probably playing for it all the time, are you?
Because you can't get 7 stock in this deck.
I mean,
the deck sucks ass.
Yeah, that's what's putting it in like tier 3, right? This is when you look at it, right? Can you really tell me you could never see this like making it literally anywhere in an event ever?
I literally cannot.
Reading the
card after playing the deck.
I don't think
quite
this
a bit.
I cannot. In an event.
Yeah.
I non-ironically think the yellow deck is the best deck in the set because that's how shitty the blue deck is. I would rather play yellow.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would literally rather play yellow into any event than I would the blue deck.
To a degree.
At least I wouldn't feel that bad.
I don't know. I just think it has
to agree with Dean. Like, to a degree. The deck is like, you read all these cards, right? And it reads so well. And then you play the deck, and you're like, damn, I'm between like 3 to 5 stock. Because I have to send all these dumbass Rems to memory. My Amelia's whiff, or like my Suballs aren't doing anything.
Or like I had to brainstorm twice because I don't know, like I couldn't recur my combo. Now I don't have enough stock for my top end. You're like pay one.
I really want to put it at the top of irrelevant, which is like we already said we aren't ranking irrelevant like internally. Like it's bottom of tier 3. Like I feel like it has to be at the bottom.
I kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
I agree. I mean, we could just revisit tier 3 at the end anyway, once we get through all the rest of this.
Yeah.
Sure. Actual ReZero.
I wouldn't mind putting it in irrelevant. I think ReZero is like a high tier 2 deck.
With the new ReZero cards, I think you're the only one who's played it.
Yeah. Carmen has played against some of it. I think it's like a pretty high tier 2. I've been playing 8 bar a lot right now. 8 bar, I've had some pretty bad low rolls with 8 bar. But I think it actually just feels insane. Like, holy moly. The Yuki combo, I will admit, I completely misread that combo. I think that combo is like actually fucking absurd. Yuki for free is pretty nuts. Especially when it's ditch a green card. So when you're playing 8 bar, every bar just becomes a Yuki ditch. And it gets to trigger first, so it gets to ditch them. Whatever. It becomes like pretty obnoxious. And then you have they reprinted the Subaru Saver from the first set.
As a green card, right?
Yeah, as a green Amelia. So it's on name and everything. It's literally the same thing. It's rest to give 15 to an Amelia. I think it's Amelia or Puck, though.
It's Amelia and Puck, I believe.
It never really comes up to buff Pucks. Yeah. So, and then it's just sack to save an Amelia. But because your Yuki combo is Amelia, you go, all right, you swing with it. They kill it. If they have any more targets that you can reverse and you have the bar, because you're playing 8 bar, you just save it, you do it again. And it just feels so actually absurd because you can just keep doing it over and over and over, and the top end is actually good now. The memory package in it is fine enough. It didn't end up being like the memory deck I thought it was going to become, like how Japan kept playing it with the event and whatever. I think the event's actually just bad.
Oh, the 1-1 event, yeah.
But
the 1-1 event, the old.
Yeah, just to correct myself really quick. It's only Amelia actually, not Puck also. Yeah.
It's only Amelia. Okay, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. It means your EP can't get a little bit bigger, but the 3/2 hexproof level X is so relevant, especially against Day Live.
Yeah.
It just means that they can't get rid of your one thing that's keeping your combo relevant, because you're fielding like 3 big bodies, and then Dow has to be like, well, I can waste these events if I have multiple to kill some of them or whatever, and then it's fine. They do it. But you're not also spending a lot for your combos because they're clock kicks or ditch to burn ones. So they're ditch to burn 2s. So they're also pretty cheap to keep doing.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what their board looks like, right? Because it's one or the other, clock kick or burn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're getting something no matter what, so they actually can't play around you. They can play around what they would prefer to take, but that's as far as it goes. It just still ReZero's card pool too. Like ReZero has like, as much as the sets have been pretty lackluster, it still just has like a lot of good cards. And even being restricted to Amelia and Puck, I don't think matters too much. It's just very good set. I'm actually pretty like happy with it, all things considered.
I'd agree with that placement as well. Just like playing into it, even not playing into the bar one. I believe you were playing bag bar.
Playing bag is still also pretty competent.
It seemed the deck seemed just like Re-zero revamped, right? It's like the deck now works again in the current meta. It's hitting that threshold.
It still gets to double early play. It does. It's like it becomes like one of the most like the stronger double early play decks. But now it's backed by a 3K level X in the back instead of the 2K stun brainstorm. So it's pretty good.
All right,
pretty good.
I think we're in agreement there. So rewrite.
Almost like this is irrelevant.
What?
Really? I think rewrite's actually really good right now.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Dude, I think
who's played it since the extra cards?
You don't add the extra cards to the deck.
You don't? No. It doesn't add any extra.
I don't actually. The thing is, I don't think rewrite. I don't think like Guardian actually needed new cards. Like Kotori is still like a pretty good combo. I think all things considered, right? It's an EP healer minus soul, which is like. They don't print EP healer minus souls after Kotori, right? Like they stopped doing that because they realized it was a mistake. Shizuru is still like a good combo.
Okay.
With gloves, right? Shizuru level 3 is still a really good card. It has the plethora of good cards. The problem was never it doesn't have good cards. The problem was they answer your early plays and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. I was like, hear me out. You're winning all the way up to level 2. You refresh your deck. You're feeling really good. You slam down your board of early plays in like a Lucia, and then they kill you, and you're just like, I can't actually play the game anymore.
But now they're not doing that anymore. Like, that's the thing we talk about Vivid Strike, where people aren't playing this early play hate right now. So it's like actually really good.
Well, Ado is playing this cool event.
I mean, only get rid of so much, though. It's fine. Like, but to say everything is bad because Day Live exists is like pretty unfair. True? I think. No,
it's almost true though.
Is it frustrating? Sure, but I'm not. I wouldn't be willing to put everything down a tier because Day Live exists. I think
the thing is, like, if we're talking about rewrite, the most I would be willing to give it is tier 3.
No,
I don't think
it's real. They can't like things can't answer Kotori's. Things can't answer your Shizurus. Your board is still just massive, right? They don't have to worry about stock swap anymore because if you're playing Kotori, you're not amassing fucking 30 stock. You're just sitting there. You're sitting on like a good 6 to 7 stock threshold with Kotori's, so you can resolve your Shizurus like later on in the game. Like I think it's like actually just good right now.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
You act as if you're not supposed to account for 30% of the room that's playing Day Live.
This was week 1. Like you can't.
I understand, but that's the statistic we have, right? Like the fact is, if you're expecting to top with a deck, you have to fight against other things. Re-zero is going to be playing its good anti-early play counter. The only thing that made Vivid Strike semi-relevant is the hexproof, allowing it to like play because people still play counters. People will play.
No, they're not. They're not.
Re-zero definitely plays its counter.
Yeah, Re-zero does because Re-zero has like the most broken one in the game.
Well, Re-zero's
that isn't Coco counter.
The fact is, if you're expecting to top with this deck, you have to fight things that will actually answer your.
Yeah, but the only thing that can answer it, like realistically, is Day Live and Re-zero, right? And these are like I don't want to look at his meta share. I don't also, care about the week 1 meta share because these said
Slime plays Wind, right?
They don't. They play Door now.
They play Door.
So
other lists play Door.
So
I'm actually heavily agreeing with Jason here a lot. I think it's like positioned very like well enough that it's like around the same area as original Sword Art Online, like in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit better than like original Sword Art because like it just has all these tools you can't ignore, and like a lot of decks can't out Shizuru plus gloves. Lucia Bonder is still just one of the most obscene level zeros ever printed in this game.
Hey.
Right?
You want to know it's a pretty cool deck that just answers fucking rewrites board at level 1?
What?
One of your favorite decks, dude. It's called Grisaia.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of these decks play level 1 bombs.
Grisaia is actually the only real relevant deck that plays level 1 bombs.
Grisaia is the only deck playing level 1 bombs. Granted, that's why I don't think it's like a tier 1 deck, right? By any means. It's like a solid lower middle tier 2 deck.
Well, listen, dude. I think if we're putting Summer Pockets into tier 3, fucking rewrites in tier 3.
Wait, but I'd rather play Summer Pockets over rewrite every time.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would rather just play Summer Pockets.
I'm sorry, I meant rewrite over Summer Pockets. I'm sorry. No, I'd rather play rewrite over Summer Pockets every time. I don't want to bank on Shiroha's. Gloves is just an obscene card. Kotori is just it's always been a great early play. Like. It just has like a lot of the tools that nothing is answering
too
right
is
now.
like
and like a lot of
the deck also is like so hyper focused and everything works together very well. So it's like that's like
the synergy is so high.
Let's just do this because we're spending so much time on rewrite, which I didn't expect this to happen. We'll throw it on bottom of tier 2.
Let's skip over this.
We're gonna throw it bottom of tier 2, and then when we look at everything, we'll fix it.
Sure. Decisive set.
Review Starlight. This is tier 2.
Bottom of tier 2, yeah.
Bottom of tier 2.
I think lower middle. I think it's like around the SAO level.
I would say
like above SAO maybe.
This is a better deck than Rewrite. This is a better deck than Rewrite for sure. Yeah.
And like the top end is really good right now too, because it's like double Icy Tail if you get, as long as you get the reverse off of these like compressed decks.
Well, I think both the Dorian and whatever are good. The standby is good. Lalafin's pretty whatever right now, but I think it's still a combo you have to respect. I think so. I mean, like, it's probably in the same area as Rewrite. I would put it right now because I think what it does is still strong.
Yeah, I think there's no.
Isn't Project Diva like permanent like bottom of tier 2?
Wait, say that again.
I think it's like tier 3. You can't hyper compress.
Oh yeah, because like, that's just not
cool.
It's somewhere down here for sure.
Like the only reason Rewrite gets to exist as a stock.
I probably put it like it's above Memory Snow. Let's be honest.
It's upper tier 3. It is like middle of tier 3-ish somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like good. It's still when you don't get the answer, when you don't have a deck that answers it, it's still like super oppressive. But enough of the good decks answer it, and all it does is hyper compress memory until the compress.
And the deck usually never is fighting for playables either because it has like pot of greed basically.
Yeah, it's still a good enough deck to play, but it's not. It just loses to too many things right now. I think it's just because a lot of combos there's a lot of people that are just also playing stock swap combos right now too, and it's like.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
how about Overlord? I would say tier 3.
Yeah.
Just because it falls into falls in that same trap as Summer Pockets, where like your board gets answered, you lose.
Yeah, its Big Spike is at level 1.
Yeah,
Big Spike is at level 1, and it's really easy to get answered right now as well. So like, you're kind of screwed. Yeah.
Very frustrating. All right, Nanoha, the Ryan deck.
Hold on, I want to make an exception for this. If Ryan Wibberley is piloting this deck is probably like mid.
Like tier 0.
Literally anybody else is piloting this deck, this is probably like mid.
So the way Ryan, like, I'm gonna ad lib this because he talked about this like a week or two ago, so I don't remember very clearly. It has good early plays, right? It gets to sit on early plays with Hand Encore. Granted, they're not healers, which I think was a big issue that I had with him because he wanted to put it like pretty high tier 2, and I convinced him that it was like low tier 2, maybe like high tier 3. But it has like good early plays. It's level 1 combos, uninteractive, which is like good, right? It's an interactive salvage, so it's good selection while like not being hard to stop. The top end is more than fine enough. I think it was a Xenon it was just a Xenon, right? But it was like fine. It was on a door. That's pretty cool. So it's playing 8 door.
Like tap counter also
randomly. It gets to have a tap counter. It has like it generates resources just fine. It has like some good memory cards. It has like a bunch of like pretty solid tools. Like really cool cards, like the Fate.
I'm inclined to currently just put it as like top of tier 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I think like a high.
I probably would take Rewrite over Nanoha, like at this point. So I
would also take Rewrite over Nanoha, but yeah, I think it's good. I think it's like it's not a set that I would like shit on and be like, well, shit tier deck.
I think though, like you said, the early play has Hand Encore or something, right?
You have a Fate that gives them Hand.
I think Hand Encore is like random, like on early plays and stuff that are really big, is actually like really good right now. Like I know Nico and I figured this out really quick when we took Review Starlight to Nats and we're on standby, and we're just like, why does this have Hand Encore?
Like got this
why does it have Scribe?
That makes
it just I think Hand Encore on an early play on a 2-soul beater just super strong like that. Yeah, it can just turn garbage cards in your hand into 2-soul beaters. So
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Very strong there. Maji Rekko. Nico, how do you feel about Maji Rekko?
I'm actually sorry that we missed this. This is irrelevant.
Yeah, it might be.
Unfortunate.
I want to put
the sad part is even with the sets that are coming, even with like the spoilers for the new set coming out, I still think it's irrelevant.
If Maji Rekko gets a good level 1 combo, it gets like the Kirito, right?
It needs deck control and it needs a decent level 1 combo.
I know. I legitimately think
if it gets that, I think the deck probably is in an okay spot.
I legitimately think if it gets Kirito combo alone, right? Just, on a relevant color, mind you.
You could say that for almost any deck.
That's literally what that deck is missing the most. It has it has 2 good top ends, that aren't really an issue. Or if the set even just gets a standby, it means a lot for the set, I think. But that's all it needs, and it goes to like minimum like middle tier 2, low tier 2, just by having like an actual level 1 combo that isn't a Shimakaze or the weird standby thing. Even though that combo is actually pretty good, but can't reverse things right now. So good luck with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually just If we're not
I think it's
like, I think this is
No.
actually
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah, no argument.
Milky
All right.
Holmes.
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
What do you
Only
mean
because
tier
we
one?
right there.
This
It
is
would
a,
be
this
tiers.
is above SAO, dude. Let's
This
be
is above
honest.
SAO and rewrite for sure.
Yeah.
So because
I
we
actually
put
put it
bad
above
sets into
RSL
tier
too,
2,
Mm-hmm.
because we put bad sets into tier 2, Milky gets into.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, Milky's just like Milky fits in that same realm as rewrite, right? Where it has like Ellie is still like a very respectably difficult combo to get over. It has a lot of tools.
Yeah, the set
from,
itself
like,
is like super
plethora
unique
of
in how
stats
its
and
playstyle
stuff, right?
is, and like as we were discussing earlier,
Yeah.
it like somehow like plays around Data Live's like 1-0 event, like because it has off time Makoto basically.
I think
Yeah, it's a
probably
one of.
like a one.
I think
maybe
before it was like a
above
one of
current
as well
meta.
if you were expecting
Yeah,
to run into
you-
like level 1 reversers, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
with Grisaia
Grisaia
running
and
around,
up
you
too.
have to run one. Yeah, at least.
I think it's got enough like good stuff going on for it that it's like you can't just ignore Milky Holmes. Like it's just in its top end is still like probably one of the coolest I've seen in terms of like the diversity of it. But
I mean, you just choose which one is the best,
Yeah.
right? You get to run a super like toolboxy top end.
yeah, it's very cool.
Choose
I like it a lot.
whichever way to pivot.
Witches are cool.
Yeah, which is
We
pretty
do
cool.
love the big
The
hat,
Re-Standard Alley's
We
pretty
do love the big hat.
dude. We need Milky Holmes re-edit so I can get witch SPs. That's all I
True.
want. I need witch foils, please.
Monogatari. Bottom of tier
Tier
3.
3. Yeah.
It's got
Is it better than
God.
Memory
Right.
Snow?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I would play this over
Yeah.
Memory. I play this over Soccer Tyson too.
Yeah, I was about to say it's better than.
It's got JT, it's got Azusa, it's got the Hachikuji is still such a cool level 3
Yeah.
card. It really, really is.
We
It
love
has, like,
stacking.
it has a
We
couple,
love stacking like 10 soul and like 7
Yeah.
prints on a
The old
card.
days.
Yeah,
It just has like the Hachikuji level 0 and the Shinobu level 0 that let you salvage and search just for having experience are both such like nuts cards. Like it just manages to just stay relevant just out of like the stupid cards it's had for so long, but not relevant enough to be better.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Sunshine.
Sunshine's probably
Tier
tier 1, right? Yeah.
Tier 1.
I wouldn't play it over the other
You
three.
guys think
but
tier
I put it
1?
in
I
tier
honestly
1.
think more like tier
Yeah.
2.
I think
Yeah.
top of tier 2 is
I
also
think
fine.
like before it was
Yeah.
like more relevant before Data Live showed up.
Oh, wait.
And then Data Live kind of changed how I think standby is going to be
Data Live makes
in the
it
future.
hard. Well, they're.
LSS has to be better than Bunny Girl though. Like
I mean, I'd rather play Bunny.
Comparatively.
Girl than
Yeah, personally,
personally,
I'd
like,
play Bunny Girl because I've been playing 8 Standby Sunshine for a while, and I hate that deck.
Like I think what it does, like I still think, when you think of a standby deck, it is like one of the premier standby decks. Although I personally would rather be playing 8 Standby Dal
Yeah.
than play 8 Standby Sunshine. I think Rekko is the carry of Sunshine.
oh yeah, for sure.
Like it is Rekko. The 2-1 Rekko is the reason I would choose to play 8 Standby Sunshine. I think over like 8 Standby Dal if I was gonna really put a reason to it. But you know, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the 8 Standby Sunshine as a whole. I think Yo is a good combo. I think whether you choose to play the Chica combo or not is fine. I think it has a lot of good tools. But I would like maybe you have to still respect it, and that it's really hard for a lot of like sets in the game to deal with it. And that's maybe it's like tier 1, but I would still probably put whatever Bunny Girl is. I'd put it where Bunny Girl is probably because I think they're in the same like.
I think top of tier 2, like
Right,
first or
so
second,
bad.
is probably where it should be
But,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also saying
Yeah.
Bunny Girl's tier 1, so that's why I think it's tier 1.
Hmm.
But you know, so up to other people's discretion in the end. We can leave it tier 1, like
Yeah, we'll
top
just put
tier
it here
2
for
and
now,
talk
and then
about it later.
if we need to move
Yeah.
it, we'll move it.
I mean, no one's actually going to listen to the commentary, guys. They're just going to get mad at us for
Yeah, they're gonna go look at the picture again
Yeah.
and be like, the fuck.
Oh boy, a set I actually
Okay,
play.
this is
I
Dean,
would play
so
this
tier
into-
2.
I would put this at tier 1 because I would play this into anything that's not. I would feel great. I'm not even lying. I think Lost Decade is absurdly strong. I think it's absurdly strong with what it does.
I would put it personally, like after looking at the cards, like because I did hear you kept talking about it. Other people were talking about it, and they're like, it's pretty under the radar. I saw where Japan was personally rating it, and I was pretty surprised.
Well, Japan. Wait, because they put it low, right?
No, they put it like middle.
That's absurd. Well, but Japan's lists are actual terrible.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right, everyone. something happened with the video, so we're actually re-recording this from where we left off because the auto got cut. Dean is not with us currently. I don't know if he's going to show up randomly in the middle of this video, but we're just going to finish this out. Hopefully, we already went through all the arguments, so this might be a little quicker than what it should have been. But I believe we're last on Lost Decade, and I think we ended up deciding it like what do you guys want to put it between?
I want to put it above. Yeah, I want to put it above.
RSL?
Dean would yell at you if he was here right now if you tried to put it lower.
I've played against the deck to where I think I would give it credit to be at that stage at the very least.
Yeah. All right. So where do we start? Well, I guess Love Live. Yeah.
Love Live
is like what, top of like tier 2.
No, it's worse than Albuta,
right? Is it?
Bare minimum worse than Albuta. I don't know if it's better than Re-zero right now, but it's more established, so I'll give it that at the bare minimum.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it still has the top end scariness of like Fumio.
Yeah, I probably put it ahead of Re-zero. Yeah, you can't disrespect it. Re-zero does feel really good to play though right now. But it's just like I've played a lot more BB than I have like 8-bar Re-zero, so
it's been around a lot longer. So.
Yeah,
and then keep in mind this tier list is like literally like 2 weeks after or so of Data Live, so some stuff. Yeah. I mean, some of this stuff is like still like trying to settle, so a lot of this might change.
We just don't know where Data Live's gonna if it's gonna warp anything.
Yeah. Little Busters.
Little Busters is probably like mid tier 3.
Well, like
maybe high tier 3.
Yeah.
Above PD, lower than Overlord seems correct.
All right.
I still think Overlord should be lower, honestly. Overlord just seems like unplayable right now.
It kind of does seem that way. Maybe
I kind of want to put Overlord lower than Sakura Tyson. No,
well, we have Monogatari above Sakura Tyson.
Yeah, but Monogatari has like some good meta choice cards like JC and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff, right? Overlord is literally just the worst standby deck to be playing when standby exists. Like, at least Sakura Tyson kind of has like a good finisher and like a combo alongside it.
Yeah. So is it better than worse than Project Diva?
No, it's worse than Project Diva. I think Project Diva just has a higher payoff as a stock charging deck too.
Yeah, personally. Stock charging right now is so bad though, but like I guess it's somewhere around.
But
here.
it's like
Let's
the payoff
move
is
it.
higher.
I don't give a shit.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I look at PD and I just think between the two, what would I rather be playing in an event?
Should we move SMP down then? I feel like SMP is like relatively.
SMP doesn't really stock charge.
Maybe stock charges, but it's blind stock, so it's like
it'll probably get moved. But we can leave it there for now and then put more stuff up.
I don't think SMP ever hits like a point of like critical mass with stock a lot of the time, unless the game really
it's usually sitting at like
they have to be sacking really hard to have more than like 7 or 8 stock.
I think just the argument though is like they both have this power. Like I assume we're talking the 2-1 combo, right? So they both have a power spike at level 1, and if their level 1 gets answered, then like they almost lose the game on the spot, right? That's just
they both have that same issue. I just think Summer Pockets has better overall cards.
It probably does.
They're not crushing on a $25 drop searcher.
So why not?
Summer Pockets has an Azusa and stuff you can tech in.
They
definitely have more tools. You're right. All right.
Konosuba is definitely tier 1.
Easy tier 1. Yeah.
Probably like
tier 1 out
bottom of tier 1 right now.
Yeah, it has like.
It's funny how this still isn't figured out yet.
Because there's so many options. And like
what is going to be better?
Like I've been having the argument too, where I feel like Konasuba right now, it doesn't feel like it's going to be any better once the movie set comes out, and I still kind of feel that way. I do think the options that it gives are really great, and that's like a great thing. But it's like none of them really feel like they're like drastically better than they were before the movie set, and I think that's kind of the issue. Where everything else feels like it's getting a lot more. This is just getting.
Oh yeah,
I mean, marginally better with more variety.
In JP, they were already like pretty pushed over what people are used to in English.
Yeah, Stock Swap Fumio is existing all the same that it has before, but I just think other things are getting better cards to cope with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where Konosuba is kind of like I feel like it's in the same spot almost as what's it?
Dal.
Not Dal. What's the other set? The one we play, Grisaia, where like it has tools that kind of fights this weird meta right now. But like this, like you guys said, it hasn't been really figured out yet, and we don't know where it's gone. Kind of like due to like the whole situation with like everything closing down for a while, we didn't get as much exploration into Konasuba. But I'm sure by the end of the year, it'll be mostly figured out by then. But for sure,
I do think it is a more like meta stable set than Grisaia is.
Yeah,
but at least right now, it's like of the top decks that I have pictured, it's the one I'd probably like bank on the least.
Yeah.
In an event.
I think I can agree with that. All right, next Kimono.
I don't remember we had this. I still have a real strong
tier 3.
I really think this deck is like a C tier deck right now. Like,
so like tier
I
3.
understand the heal event is really good, especially because like the heal event at least goes over Grisaia and stuff. But the deck just really seems so vanilla for a healing deck that it's like that's all it has. It feels so bad to me to look at
it. Right? That's like it.
Yeah, and Anti-Burn 1 doesn't do anything.
Because Anti-Burn 1's not doing anything, and then also the ban is literally just a ban on Alpaca, and you always play the 2-1 of it.
Yeah, so, like I don't know. Like set seems fine. It still seems like perfectly playable, but it's just like I don't. It just doesn't seem like it does anything that really makes it competitive right now, and that's my biggest issue with it.
It's like you throw it in tier 3, like closer to the end.
Probably higher tier 3. Like it's still very competent.
Yeah,
I can tell you now. I forgot. I still have the broken video on the other screen here. We had it like bottom of tier 2, top of tier 3 area.
Yeah, that was because of Dean. Yeah. Dean really insisted on it being tier 2, but it just doesn't do anything. Like,
since Dean is not here to defend himself, I'm willing to put this as the top of tier 3.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like again, I think it's still a competent deck that has
it's totally fine
meta, but it's just that's all it is. It's just fine.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have anything to back it up, really, right?
Nothing right now is really doing
profile.
burn 1s, right? Either.
No.
Yeah. So like the deck can do like decent compression through like its like pseudo memory and stuff, but it just has that problem of finishing games. Whereas like
actually, I don't think there's any deck that isn't Akira in like the top sets right now that are up there that burns 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, until Akira and like Milky Holmes, right? Nothing else there burns 1.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because I would almost say Kimono is very similar to Slime.
Grisaia?
No, I would say Slime because they both like their game plan is literally to heal all game and like gain memory through that. But it's just like Slime just does it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, like it's a lot more consistent. Its tools just feel more modern.
Mm-hmm.
It has better tools at level 0 to answer what other decks are doing as well. So
I also think Kimono lacks like a really good like level 1 game, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty true. You're just like relying on coin flips, or you can go with the Arai package if you like.
Maguro, Shimakaze, it's all like okay.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Top of tier 3 seems fine, I'm like very okay with
tier 2, somewhere around there.
So key anniversary.
Nico
where do we put that? Yeah, Nico. Where does this go?
I would put this above like Rewrite, but this is probably like in the same tier as Rewrite.
Really? I thought you said this was worse than this. Like this was like a pile of just like messy garbage. It's like it's just a bunch of like things clashing.
I love Rewrite. Okay.
I know.
I love Rewrite, but Rewrite sucks.
Yeah, but is this actually better? Like, dude, Rewrite's so good right now. Like, I actually encourage you to like even just proxy it or try it on TTS right now.
I literally have the deck, Jason.
Sure. Oh, I didn't know you still had it. My bad. Just try it. Like, actually go and like play some games with it with Katori Rewrite. Like, I think you will actually be very pleasantly surprised how well it stands up to the meta right now.
Yeah, I actually agree a lot with Jason on that sentiment, but like. Key,
I don't think you're gonna change my mind here, but I'm
willing. I'm just encouraging you to try it. You know, like you like Rewrite, like dude, do yourself a favor, take the advantage of your deck potentially being like better, right? But yeah, I mean, I was talking to.
I think high tier 3 is probably like the more appropriate spot for it.
Well, like somewhere right here,
better than SMP.
No, probably is
better than Bullbusters Twins.
It's. Oh yeah, I think it's better.
Okay, there you go. There's the spot between SMP and LB. Because like LB Twins is the way to play LB right now, right? Like
I think it's also really hard to like start grading these once you have so many of them, just because like the situations and stuff, like the matchups are a little too much. So I think this should just be a general guide.
I think it's one of those things where you look at it and it's like, how do you feel taking this over the things placed higher than it?
And it's one of those things.
If we actually talked about like. Would you take this to a tournament? I don't think we would actually be having almost any discussions about tier 3 and maybe only the top of tier 2.
Yeah, like I would never take any of these decks.
It's a hypothetical thing, I think. If you were given the choice of these tier 3s, you know, and you had to rank them in the order that you would take them to an event if given the opportunity.
Oh, sure.
I think that's how you have to look at it. You have to look at it by tier because
it's like if I had to
tier
take
1 is very self-contained. Tier 2 is very self-contained. I'm obviously never going to take a tier 2 set when I have the option to play a tier 1 set, right?
Yeah, the thing about tier 3 too is like it's like the cutoff of like almost becoming irrelevant, you know?
Yeah, it's like I can take this to locals and feel good about myself. Yeah. But like that's as far as I'm probably going right now, at least.
All right,
let's hit it from the other side.
Oh, you want to go AOT?
Okay,
let's go AOT.
I think AOT is tier 2.
Tier
set,
2?
like
I feel like it's
I still think
somewhere top of tier 3.
So strong. Really, I think Mikasa is just still like the whole like even just the English deck. I think even in JP is still just so strong.
I think I kind of changed my mind on this from like the last time to where I thought about it a little. I think it's probably a fine-ish, like almost roguish deck in the Japanese meta. If we're talking about like the English list, because I think the
bottom
Japanese
tier 2
more like considers the heal spam top end as opposed to the Mikasa.
Yeah, I just think it's
I think I'd be willing to put this as like bottom of tier 2 or around there.
Because if you think about it, like if you don't respect this as a deck, you'll actually just die. Like Mikasa can kill you from like mid to like.
Well, I'll put it this way: do we think it's better than Kimono Friends?
Yes.
I don't know. I almost feel like they're the same. Like this is my issue with it. I think AOT makes a lot of sense in like an English format because that's a lot of the big thing we're all used to playing competitively at the highest level. Mm-hmm. It makes sense why AOT is like very strong in that like confined meta. But when it comes to JP, look at all the sets like in tier 2 and tier 1 almost don't even care about what's on the board, right? So the biggest strength to AOT is like maneuver gear and like denying reverses. So you've lost out on denying reverses because it basically doesn't hurt anyone in the top tier for the most part. And then the other big thing is like maneuver gear. Maneuver gear is like always going to be good no matter what, but is that enough to make the set bump into tier 2? I think yes, Mikasa as a finisher is like pretty solid all around. But I don't know if it's like enough to actually get it there and to beat like things in tier 2 consistently, like nonstop. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, I understand. I don't know. When I think of it, it's like I just think AOT is just like it just has such like a good like amount like good cards in its deck, and like Mikasa is still probably one of the best finishers ever printed in the game, probably in terms of like just like kill potential. Where like I feel almost wrong putting it in tier 3. It's kind of just how I feel about it, because it'll just like it can play its own solitaire game, right? Because a lot of these decks, aside from like 2 or 3 of them, right, they're not stopping AOT. They're letting AOT just farm them because they don't care. So it's like they don't care, but then AOT gets to thrive, and then who's really in the better spot when you get to just farm with errands, right? Like, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like
because like
I think they are. I think Aaron plus maneuver gear.
I'm going to like give you an example. So like right now in tier 1 we have Saikano.
Well, no, I'm saying that those are the decks that can ignore it. Like those are the decks that get around Aaron. I'm talking about like if we look at like because I don't think it's tier 1. Right? Like, I don't think it beats any of the tier 1 decks, and that's why I'm not even like offering high tier 2 right now. Like I'm thinking it's like low tier 2 because if you look at like a lot of the tier 2 sets, they're just feeding Aaron. Like that's all they're doing. I mean, like Aaron gets too big for some of them, or like they just don't care. Like they're just like, okay, whatever. Like Re-zero, I'm telling you right now, Re-zero is gonna just feed Aaron. Re-zero is gonna be like, shit, I can't stop it.
Yeah, I could see like Love Live feeding.
Love Live is gonna feed it.
Can feed
Funny
it.
Girl's gonna feed it.
I don't think Lost Decade.
Lost Decade will feed it at 1. What are they doing at 1?
It depends on the build, but yeah, in some cases.
I mean, even Dean's 1, right? Didn't you say they kind of like turtle at 1, and then at 2 is when they pop off?
The Lost Decade level 1 is like 9k power, like on defense. And then you can bat
in every lane, or
in 2 lanes, and you give up 1 lane, and like usually that lane that doesn't live, or I guess they get a farm 1 lane maybe. It just depends on what's in that last
1
lane.
maybe 2, depending on how they play.
Yeah,
you know, because they can hit. Aaron can hit 9k, right? Like we can't. It can beat over 9k if they especially if they position wrong. But
yeah, I don't.
Milky's probably harder. RSL I don't think hits actually a high enough power threshold.
No,
consistently enough to do it. SAO is gonna just give it to them. Rewrite can protect 1, max 2 lanes. So I just think, and Aaron is a very impactful combo. Maneuver Gear is a fantastic card.
Yeah,
like I don't really want to dwell too big on it.
Yeah, AOT is like
you
the
can
biggest
put it
thing.
Top tier 3, bottom tier 2. It's just Mikasa's just so scary.
I agree with that. But go ahead.
Is it better than Rewrite?
So I just said it can actually like you know they can farm Rewrite level 1. I think I'd rather play Rewrite than play AOT though. But
I'm gonna.
And that's why I said bottom of tier 2.
I can put it like
top tier 3,
I can put it like top of tier 3. I just cannot give it tier 2 myself unless you guys really want me to push it up.
No, I think
like I said, I'm not willing to fight
3.
it that hard, but I just think it's like
it comes down to if you want to play Kimono or AOT. Like
I do think this is the set that I would take to an event though. If you had to tell me take something like low tier 2, high tier 3, I would probably take it. I can heavily consider taking AOT. Because it can just steal so many games. Rogue deck, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I'm just gonna leave it here then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bang Dream.
Bang Dream is booty.
Probably once again top of tier 3. I'd say.
I'd play Nanoha over Bang Dream.
I would argue that this is bottom of tier 2.
No, the Bang Dream is awful. Right?
Based
Bang Dream is in
based
the
on
worst
representation.
No, Bang Dream representation isn't fair. Bang Dream representation is forever skewed because it's Bang Dream.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like Bang Dream is
it worse than Kimono
bad.
Friends?
Yeah, I think it's worse than Kimono Friends. I think Kimono Friends.
I would say it's honestly.
Like I actually think
I would go as far to say it's worse than Nanoha.
Yeah, like
like this.
It's level 3 is so incompetent right now. Like I literally, it's all I ever hear from people playing Bang Dream.
How do you win a lane
has nothing.
with like anything?
Like Mocha's so weak.
3.
Mocha can't kill doesn't have like that good of kill.
Well, because your other stuff can't win a lane,
yeah,
you're forced to play Mocha, right?
Ron's a good early play, which is cool, but Ron doesn't make the deck. All of your level 1 options are very.
And
like,
if you want to run anything other than Mocha, you're like forced to like jam.
You're forced
Ron.
to green, yeah.
Yeah, it would like it just like ruins the rest of your deck.
Playing like I feel like playing the standby top end kind of forces you to play Popipa. Which is like fine, but again, it's there's a lot of cards that are pretty good from the other bands that you're not getting to really play, or you have to like kind of make like wonky concessions to play. All the level 1 combos in Bang Dream right now feel just like
not good,
so mediocre.
All right, I think we're kind of in agreement here. Cardcaptor Sakura, it's like tier 2 above SAO probably.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than Milky Holmes.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd probably place it
probably better than Milky.
You think
it heals.
It might be better than Review.
I don't know if it's better than.
I think I'd still rather play Review. I think Review's finisher is more impactful and has still has like a really good base. Sakura has some good cards, but I still think there's like
Sakura has good
some parts where it falls short.
I played that deck a lot. It's
If they out your level 1 combo, you feel really bad. You're kind of banging.
Yeah, you do bank on level 1 because like otherwise you can't really generate a lot of advantage.
Yeah. Okay,
because I feel like red green is the most popular build right now. Red green yellow, like.
Well, between
that build is fine, but you do crutch on your union. You do crutch on your union a lot. If you can't resolve union, the deck kind of falls apart.
Milky, CCS.
Yeah, between Milky, Holmes, and CCS, like if they both lost their level 1 game, what would play better?
Milky Holmes has a more adaptable top end, so I think you have to put it above CCS.
I think Milky has
in that regard.
Overall.
Yeah,
Milky has a more adaptable top end.
Well, they I also give them credit for having like off time and stuff right now.
Yeah, off time is
good. Helps against Grisaia, helps against Daily Live. Pretty good.
All right. Charlotte?
Is it bad that I want to put Charlotte in like C tier so bad?
If you do, listen, dude, like sure, dude.
I don't think it is.
But like the deck, I think the deck is probably right now top of tier 2.
No.
Jason, as much as you hate the deck,
dude, I've been playing it.
I've played the deck, Jason. Here's the thing, dude. You're struggling almost the entire game, but then all of a sudden you hit 3, and then your opponent's actually being like, "Why is my opponent spending 5 turns at level 3? Wait, why am I now actually losing? What's happening?"
I don't know. I feel like it's like one of those things though, where it's like, if you can get to low level 3. You're in a really good spot, but all of a sudden, if your opponent kind of pushes you to like mid to high level 3 before like from your 2, you're feeling really upset. Like you're not in a good spot, right?
I think those games are few and far between, my dude.
Dude, I don't even think is it really that few and far between that you go from like 2-5 to like 3-3? Like I don't think that's that unreasonable. Like 3-3, 3-4.
Yeah, sure, it's not, but like at the same time, like. I don't know. So you have healers. You're running at least 4 healers, depending on what you're choosing to run. Because if like you either run the enemies,
I feel like I never have the stock for that kind of stuff though. Like I have to like
come at it from the other direction, right?
Okay.
In terms of like a deck that I bring to a tournament, I am thinking about Charlotte because of how strong the top end is. I think that alone puts it in the same like level as LSS. Because when I think about a deck like LSS, like Bunny Girl, whatever, like BB, it can't be worse than like BB Re-zero, like at all.
Not like
honestly, it can't be lower than that because I am thinking about it when I build a deck. I'm thinking about that when I build a deck. I'm thinking like, oh, how do I out now if I run into Charlotte, right?
I think I'd put
there. Like build around is an important aspect, I think, in terms of like evaluating where things go. Because I definitely think about Charlotte when I'm throwing together a list because of how strong the now stuff is, especially now with hexproof.
And to throw that in there
can't
too,
deny that.
Is like the level 1 game can randomly become really, really huge, and so like against
now level 1 is really good.
Yeah, so I think like I know people like I don't even know if they like using the word tempo, but like if you can use your nows to clear like big threats on the board, and like you don't mind hitting 2 or 1 second in the deck, even though you have Rickies available to you if you want to hit 1 first, because more than likely you have the ability to like threaten like just board wipes in almost every lane, especially if they're only sitting at like 6-7k on defense, because now just randomly gets to 7-5, and you have this neato back row that says, yeah, make one of your lanes 9k. Why? I don't know, just do it, dude. You got it, you deserve it.
I mean, are we all kind of good, like just like above Love Live, below Abuda?
I'll leave it there for now, I guess. I don't know, I still feel very, very poor on Charlotte, but
yeah,
if people are willing to put it
there, I mean, that's fine.
I won't argue.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte is, of those top like 5, I'd probably play it last, personally.
Mm-hmm.
But if everybody else seems to be like it, think it's that strong.
I mean, I think it's fair to like because don't get me wrong.
It's whole.
That has a lot of flaws. That,
I mean, yeah, it still feels like I'm playing a 2015 deck. Like.
Yeah, but
it reminds me of that every time I play it. I'm like, this is still a 2015 deck.
Yeah.
I'm still playing a 2015 top end. I'm just like, it's like it's on like that's like a good life support where it's like, man, but this support for this top end, oh, it's keeping me going. It's keeping me alive.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. What's it called? But it's like just to like a reminder too, like. These sets all within the same tier, they're like so minute difference on power here. Like we could also be like organizing this somewhat wrong, right? I mean, like the Charlotte could be anywhere in like tier 2 and it'd still be like all the sets would still be relatively like the same power.
I feel like I see kind of like an invisible gap between where like Lost Decade and RSL split in my mind, at least, because like, again, I'm still not too high on Lost Decade, but if the way everybody's hyping it, I'd be willing to see it as like strong, because I think Re-zero's like Re-zero Love Live are like really strong and have like something that's a lot more appealing than stuff like RSL right now. But yeah, I don't think it's like tier 1 to tier 2 gap.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's leave Dow last like we did last time.
Yeah.
Contact Collection, this is probably like easy tier 3, right?
Yeah,
higher tier 3.
I'm gonna
I think the whole 1/1 thing is really good. It's still healed. It's just not like all there.
How high up
probably
do you
like,
want this though?
Probably above Little Busters.
Above Little Busters.
Yeah, probably just above Little Busters.
Yeah,
it's a very competent set.
Yeah.
That's like all
I'm just gonna say the same thing I did last time. Like literally, this set has almost everything you'd ever kind of want. It has anti-heal, it has anti-salvage. It has like a lot of like choices between like what combos you want to run and stuff. The issue, and it can even fight the meta if it wants to, like depending on what's being played. The issue is that no one's spent any time really developing Contact Collection anymore. So like unless someone comes around and like breaks the set with a new deck, like I could randomly see this being high tier 2 suddenly. But until then, it's probably good.
If it gets unrestricted.
Yeah, especially if it gets unrestricted. But right now, it's just kind of like...
Junior's never getting restricted.
Yeah,
No, it's never getting unrestricted. But if it did, it could be you.
But yeah, it's
okay,
kind of...
keep Junior banned. Unrestrict the rest of it, and it could be like real good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's probably going to stick around tier 3 until someone like kind of breaks it or whatever.
All right, so IMS Million Live, like
just put it in low tier 2. Dean's not here. I don't really want to argue. We kind of agreed it was like low tier 2 before.
Yeah,
I
feel
like
better than SAO, but probably lower than
sure,
Karkov.
that's fine. I don't really want to argue it.
Yeah.
I feel nothing special about this set. It's competent. Like,
since we got cut off, the general consensus is like between us rather is that like the 10 event list or whatever, we're talking about more of the list that Dean's been playing, which came from like the shell of a Japanese list. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He did.
Yeah, where it's like stock sold pants standby 332.
I believe it's 3 stock sold, 3 pants, 2 standby.
And it can do this really cool thing where it pivots really hard at level 2 after the Makoto turn, using the 2-1 Makoto combo of stock soul to sort of kill its opponent in whatever way is best, and it can sort of make that call sort of adaptively as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And that's really strong, and that a lot of people haven't examined or like really built around that kind of list.
Yeah, Japan mostly like settled on a standby and never went any further with it, and I don't think any of the other top players really touched Million Live anymore after that. But like to hark a little bit more on what Carmen's saying here, like literally Million Live, it like gives up its like power spikes at 0 and 1 because the utility cards at 0 and 1.
The deck is really strong at level 0.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
you randomly have these like 4, 5, 5k clean cuts running around.
Yeah, but
you have cards that go macro generate advantage.
The big thing though is like you give up like a lot in those levels, and you're basically like trying to live off of these clean cuts and like other random stuff at level 1 to have this huge power spike at 2. That power spike at 2 lets you have that malleable top end to like literally answer any situation you're in.
Yeah.
Basically, you're doing a lot of work to have the same finisher as Dao. So, All right. I think that's it. Hinolaji and Logic, we had this huge argument on that.
Low middle B tier is as low as I'll go right now. I think Hinolaji is in the same vein as Rewrite, potentially a little bit better because of the nature of its early plays, where we're in a meta right now where early plays are very weak. For the most part, there's very few early plays that are strong, and the ones that are strong are very sticky with like hand-on core and whatever. And because of that, people are opting to not play a lot of good anti-change removal. Maybe they're playing like one bomb. And in that kind of meta, I think Yuko is like beyond powerful because she is just such a fast snowballing early play that becomes really hard to get rid of if you give her like even just one or two turns of leverage. And like even like some of the best like top ends right now like just can't get over it, and it's very frustrating, I think. And because of that, like it can leverage. It has like a pretty average like 0-1. I think its zeros are actually pretty good at, but it's like level 0. Its level 1 game is like pretty average, I guess. It's almost like on par with Charlotte in terms of like its level 1 game, where it can do some pretty strong things. It can kill things. But it doesn't feel particularly powerful in the same vein as some other sets. But it's more than enough to get it where it needs to go. And the inclusion of like the PR brainstorm helped to make multiple, like, you know, even getting to like triple trance. Double trance is basically free. Triple trancing with the help of the brainstorm means you pay a little bit of premium to do it. But when you get there, it can just feel like it's impossible to answer Yuko's. And I think that's what makes it like really, really strong, is that its level 2 game to 3 game just feels so insane. And it has the decompression at the top end that like sets are really desiring. It's not the best decompression. It's just like the Nodoka check for if you see any climaxes, you can mill them. Otherwise, you just shuffle it. But I think even then, sometimes when things get to like certain deck states that they've been getting to in this meta, I think that's more than enough to really get you somewhere where you can actually kill your opponent. So I think that's why it's probably like a lower middle, like mid, like easy middle, like lower middle set right now. That's like you could actually compete with this set and do something.
I think I want to make it very clear, like with Rewrite and Hinolaji and Logic, these are sets with like asterisks next to their name, where like if there's a small meta shift, these probably drop off to tier 3 really fast.
Yeah. If people start playing early, like early play hate, and like, you know, like anti-change counters, and like maybe like playing like they're maybe playing more bombs and whatever, these sets drop very fast. But right now, in, you know, as of August 3rd, 2020, these are very much like middle of the pack playable like sets that get the feet off the the lack of early play hate. So
all right, I guess we'll move on to Gochiusa. What, top of tier 3?
Yeah.
I'd play that over AOT.
It's probably the best of the tier 3s right now. Yeah.
You can either choose to play like Kokochino or DMS, whatever. They're both fine.
I also like that has like the same kind of powerful top end as Mikasa. So if you want it, Coco counter is still really good.
Yeah, I'd say it's even the top end is just better than Mikasa, right? I mean, it's on a better.
I don't remember if it's
on a better trigger. It doesn't need to interact with your opponent, right?
The better trigger was right, but I did think the soul modulation on Mikasa kind of pushed it a little bit over the edge in my opinion. But it's not any more cheaper.
In terms of sheer
it's more expensive
output.
Actually. It's more expensive than Mikasa is.
Yeah.
But by one stock. Much, but yeah, I mean, I do think being on a door helps throughout the whole game. Yeah. To like shore up some of Gochi's weaknesses if you choose to play it as well. So I'd play it over AOT, I guess.
All right.
If I was given the choice, DMS is pretty sick.
Grisaia is pretty easy. Not top of tier 1. I wish.
Right under Slime, above
Sass. Around there. It just fights the meta very well. It's the best anti-heal deck in the format. It has like memory compression, and the memory compression like naturally builds towards your end game anyway. So it's not really hurting you along the way where you're trying to force yourself to get all this memory for no reason. The top end is kind of modular in a sense. It has stock swap, but it has burn 1s. Your healers all heal the stock. Musashi's too, I guess. And then your healers heal the stock. The biggest trouble with the deck, honestly, is probably hand size towards the end because you blow your hand to like kill your opponent, right? You'd agree with that. Best card in the deck is the 1/0 bomb that randomly has 2 soul, and it's like 4/5 power.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That card's fucking.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that.
Yeah, it just has so many tools, good selection. Being able to loop its level 1 combo, it kind of helps shore up its like pretty, and the bombs help shore up its like pretty mediocre mid game. But again, things are there are not a lot of decks playing good early plays, so it can kind of get away with it like pretty easily.
Yep.
Which is very good for the deck.
All right, Goblin Slayer, mid tier 2.
Tier 2 is fine.
Yeah.
Around here.
I'd honestly probably just put Lost Decade above it.
So like around here.
That seems fine. I think Goblin Slayer's tools and stuff are still too good to ignore.
It's still really solid. Yeah.
It just lacks that competent finisher, I think.
Yeah, its
really
quote unquote finisher is Resurrection, and like because we're in this heal meta too, it like does decently well. It immediately folds to Grisaia, but outside of that, like Resurrection keeps it relevant because we're in this like really heal meta where like a lot of these top decks.
I don't think it matters what top end you actually play.
Yeah, a lot of the top decks don't really push too hard, except things in tier 1 have like some push. But everything else is kind of like almost vanilla swingy at this point.
They're mostly playing standby, aren't they? When they play it, they don't even play door.
Yeah, door standby.
Yeah, it's usually just standby, and they're playing their finisher is the Goblin Slayer TD.
Yeah.
So it's fine
if at all.
Yeah. If they bother to try to finish, they're just trying. They're basically just doing what the set's doing, and they're just heal stalling and. Attritioning their opponent out,
waiting,
sitting there with like the witches and whatever.
All right,
just trying to
So Fate
Stay Night. What is like mid of tier 3?
So
I think Jason managed to argue it to be like
middle of tier 3.
Better than SMP or worse?
I think it's better than SMP, but
it's probably better than SMP.
It doesn't crumble, dude. It doesn't crumble under itself.
Nico.
It doesn't lose to Day Live.
We have to acknowledge after a certain point, SMP
is just falling.
It's just not. It's becoming less and less playable every day.
Not in my heart, Carmen.
Not in my heart either.
But in my brain,
Shiraha is becoming like more and more of a liability, like every day.
Yeah, like Fate.
Yeah, you're right.
So for the people that don't really know what Fate's doing right now. Ever since Fate got like literally its neck snapped on the ban list, it's had to make a lot of pretty like mediocre concessions. Luckily, Fate's card pool is good enough that it can kind of slap a band-aid over the ban list and be like, yeah, look, we can play these cards that are basically the same. Haha, smile. With like the Avenger, Shira Avenger, like Avenger, I guess, because Shira was named after that card. Where it's not master trait by itself, so that's kind of unfortunate. But it does the clock on Court of Masters, which is still what Shiro was really played for. You have the Azusa option still with the Sakura Azusa. That card has the unfortunate part of being not master traded and only grabbing green, which 50% of your deck is still green, so you have the same amount of hits, but you are hitting the less quality stuff in the end, which is pretty unfortunate. You lose out on the heal event, so you're kind of more like you have to start warping your deck closer to how like the English deck plays with like the LE healers if you choose to play those, and then you're still trying to like free fresh and stuff, but you're more conscious about the things that you're grabbing at all times. You're playing maybe like a couple other like green utility cards to fix for things, but you're still trying to play that same Fate game plan, and it still gets to do it. It just feels a little hollow compared to how like oppressive it used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think that makes the deck like drastically more fair, where it's still competent and it'll still do what it's trying to do to you like fairly well, and like pretty obnoxiously regardless. Right? Like getting the free fresh looped on you is obnoxious no matter.
It's doing the same thing except that it's not generating memory. Unlike the other decks,
it's not playing that. But I mean,
similar style of game plan.
Yeah, it's still doing what it did. It's just not doing it every single turn 100% of the time. It's gotta play a bit smarter, but when it does it, the payoff is still just as good. So it still has its strength, but it's not something I would probably consider competing with. And I know Japan is actually still playing it from what I saw. Like they rated it like pretty decently as well. To my surprise, at least until I had somebody like proxy it and start playing it so I could actually see what it did. And it's very fine still, I think, but better than like the lower half of tier 3 at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Moving on. Fujimi.
Remember when this used to be the best 8 standby deck? Where is this at?
Yeah, bottom of tier 3.
It's literally almost irrelevant, but it's better than Memory Snow.
I'd play Memory Snow over it.
I would not play Memory
Really?
Really?
I would rather play Fujimi over Memory Snow.
Fujimi so to me, like maybe you guys can like feel free to disagree and put it wherever you want to, but to me personally, when I look at Fujimi was just that deck that it was really good because it walled and it had the best walls. Its tools were always pretty lackluster. Its top end was non-existent, but it walled so well compared to everything else because the Tomonori was so massive and it just had good enough things to support it with like the Asia, where it just bodied you out and then minus sold you. I don't actually think that's all that good.
I would still say it's better than fucking Memory Snow.
I mean, look, I just think Memory Snow has far better tools as like a whole set than Fujimi does. Fujimi really crushed on, please don't answer my walls.
At least Memory Snow has the anti-change counter playing into this meta.
Amelia anti-change counter is so strong.
Yeah. Okay. On Amelia anti-change counter alone.
Like I played against Fujimi for a little bit when I was in like the remote fight Discord, and it was just so laughably mediocre. Like I was beating it with like anything. It doesn't do anything, and it's like you out there Tomonori's Day Live. My Little Shido's the Tomonori.
That actually happened to me.
You sit there and you're just like,
your Tomonori, and they're just like, how do I play the game now?
Why am I playing this? I could be playing.
If you can answer the 2-2, you're just done.
Yeah.
Like, why play this when you can play 8 Standby Sunshine, which is in tier 2, or 8 Standby Daily Live, which is like, is spoiler, it's probably a tier 1 set.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler. I think it's tier 1.
So when you have one 8 standby deck in each tier, why am I ever gonna play this? Unless I really just like having these random IPs together in my deck. But Korra was zombie to Weiss when though.
Exactly.
For real. But
alright.
FGO though.
I think you
bottom of tier 2.
Yeah, like towards the bottom end of tier 2.
Yeah, like I would play Rewrite over it, honestly. Like it has a lot of good tools. It has some pretty egregious level zeros. Like I think that coin flip is the best coin flip printed in Weiss Schwarz at the moment. That card is so insane.
It's a coin flip that turned itself into something better.
Yeah. Pay 1, sack it, check 4, add 1 on a coin flip is so actually insane. It plays Cocutus, I think, in my opinion, better than Rewrite does. It has good healers. It has a good early play. Overlord? That's pretty hard to Overlord. What did I say?
You said Rewrite.
Oh, oops. I was looking at Rewrite. That's why. Yeah, better than Overlord.
It's better. It's basically just better Overlord, right?
Yeah, it trades the power of the first level 1 turn Cocutus for the consistency of not killing itself if it doesn't resolve them. Having a level 1 standby combo that actually pluses you is very, very key. And I think helps the deck stabilize really bad, where like other decks kind of fail. So I think that's like a big boon for it. It's not amazing by any means, but I mean, I wouldn't look at you wrong for taking this to an event. It's still very competent. Its top end is more than fine.
Yep, makes a lot of sense.
So,
all right, the big boogeyman in the room, Data Live. I mean, I think it's not like you said earlier.
I think at the moment I would probably consider almost putting it above Konasuba.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you think it's here?
So why do you want to put it lower?
What?
So tell me why. Because this is different from what we heard before, so I'm really interested in what you have to say.
Oh wait, what did I say before? Did I say it was like right above?
You were in the same boat as us, saying that it was like tied with.
I'm just more reserved now, but yeah, I think this is a tier 1 set.
Okay. But why do you put it that low though? When like, I'm willing to put it lower. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have expressed my flaws in like the podcast
to
with
me,
it, but
like I'll explain quickly because like the way I'm looking at it for the tier 1 is like almost all of these decks are very, very near each other in power level, except I would say 100%. Outside of Saikano, where I would say that's slightly above like almost all of them. For all these other ones, I think they're just very like malleable in placement, if that makes sense. But I think Dao like just kind of fits into that same bucket. At the moment, like,
I don't know.
You still don't have like you don't have outs to certain things in Dao, like crazy memory compression. But I mean, you have outs to almost everything else.
Wait, you have outs to crazy memory compression in Dao? What? I'm so confused now. How did you come to this conclusion?
Wait, what?
Oh my god!
Mean?
There's
the stock swap.
No, that's not memory.
I said memory compression, dude.
So the deck fights other decks very well if they start doing weird compression things where their deck gets really tiny. There's multiple top-ins in this set that just say it doesn't matter where your compression is.
I know,
right?
I understand the Kurumi's in there where you can say shuffle 3, but a lot of the times they're probably
it's not even shuffle 3.
The other girl that does Icy Tail. Like
I was gonna say the Kurumi Icy Tail.
Well, to be fair, I do think so. To be fair, I do think it's hard to put all these things together because Kurumi is doing one thing, like it's covering a few bases by itself. But then when you look at Data Live, it's like when you choose to play the other two, all of a sudden you don't have the out to stock swap to like immense stock, right? Like Kurumi is your out to stock compression, whereas the other two, those decks can't, like those two finishers can't really do anything about stock compression. You have Origami, which is like, if your deck's small, I can punish you with good burns.
Well, no, because Origami,
which is good.
You just fine. Like if they compress their deck, you would just combo.
Yeah. Well, no, because you're playing. This is like the two lists like I've seen were just 4 of the standby, or you're playing split
sorry, I was thinking Toka.
Icy Tail, you have the Icy Tail, but you can use Toka when they're decompressed. Origami when they are compressed is the thing, because Origami's Icy Tail, so it's better when they have a smaller deck. Which is good, but I do think you still have a harder time dealing with the higher stock generating things when you're playing that stuff, which I think is fine. Like it's still really good. Like I do actually think the split pants thing is like pretty strong. Personally, I've expressed that I think the floor for the Data Live decks are pretty can be pretty yikes, right? Like Choice can rebuild itself and can catch itself up pretty well when it even if it misses combo. But if it falls behind, I feel like too far, and it takes a little too long to find its combo, it can be in a kind of rough spot. So I do think Kurumi is a great top end though, and Kurumi's like actually probably one of the most absurd top ends I've seen in a while.
Yeah, like to say something too about that. I understand when you like people are saying like, oh, the floor is bad if you miss your combo literally all game, but like literally missing your combo all game with all these other sets are basically the same.
Well, so my problem with it is that I feel like it has less tools to find its choice, which I think is I actually think if this set had a Kazuma or like a Rumia,
it does.
We'd be talking.
Yes, they have one. It's clock a character, top check 4, add a card to hand. I'm almost certain.
Maybe
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
But sure, I don't remember. I remember having a Snow Sprite, which is clock to search one. I don't remember if they had that card though, but I mean, maybe you have to like opt to play that card.
I was considering.
I mean, so you have Climax Swap, which is playable. You have Arisu.
I mean, the Climax Swap is a lot weaker in like choice standby though, right? But yeah, it does exist. Sure. I mean, I do these things exist that do fix it. Don't get me wrong. Like,
I was like, you also have like the option to have. Well, this is like kind of like starting to go less, but like if you're running the pants trigger in any way, that can.
I think
so on and so forth.
Choice pants. Pants is obviously a very strong trigger right now with all these like sets that are level 1 combo reliant, like right. Like we're seeing it with SAO, Grisaia, Slime, Konasuba. If you're playing like the 3 pants, the 1 door version top end, it has it. There's a lot of these decks that really rely on level 1 combos, so having the access to pants is like really strong. So I do think there's a merit to Dal, but then Dal does lose the Kurumi top end to play that, which is unfortunate in its own way, I think. But okay, now my question to you though, Nico, right?
What's up?
How do you feel about My Little Cheeto? Because like if Dean were here, Dean would be complaining that Dal is the best.
I think that card is absurd, and I think I am actually going to see if I can try to maybe.
Yeah, because like
it's almost like worth like an 8 standbys, like almost like really tight on space. I'm almost considering. I'm like, do you cut one of these?
I mean, I made a list for 8 standby with the event.
Like, try to shove 3 or 4 of this event in there because.
I think the event is like ban worthy tier level.
The event is one of the most absurd cards that like out of the Dow problem cards. That's. Honestly, I would think that's probably more up there.
I mean, that's number 1.
On the same level with Kurumi.
Now,
because the crazy things that it can do.
I do agree. I think that the event is absurd. I've been saying this since it got spoiled. But my thing is that the main deck that Japan is playing, right, is 8 standby. Yeah. 8 standby and book standby, right? 8 standby is not playing this event in Japan right now. Like they're not. Like I've seen lists that are trying. Whether they're succeeding, there hasn't been enough events yet to see really. But the lists that have done well and whatever been shown, we're not playing the event at all. Now, how do you think that holds up when like a lot of these sets that we've complained about, were like gets destroyed by My Little Cheeto? Because I think that's the card that hurts a lot of these decks, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the deck that hurts Re-zero. It's the deck that hurts. It could hurt Charlotte if they somehow have 2, right? Because then they dunk the U and then they can dunk the now after.
Yep.
They also have hexproof with the things. Is it hex? No, it wasn't. I still wasn't hexproof. Never mind. That was the memory kick.
Yeah.
It hurts Love Live Sunshine. It hurts. It hurts Hinolaji. It hurts Goblin Slayer. It hurts Lost Decade. It hurts most of these tier 2 sets, and some of the tier 1 sets. So do you think 8 standby not playing this is kind of influencing the fact that you don't think it's as high? Because like. We agreed that Kurumi and the event are both ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
right?
it's mainly just because I just finished playing like a long kind of like tourney with 8 standby, which is probably why I was wanting to place it solo. But no, I almost feel like I'm supposed to try to fit in this event into the 8 standby list also, just because like the event is just so absurd.
Do you think
and
8
even
standby is better than choice standby per se? Like, it's the better.
I think I know me and Kid have talked about this before. I don't think you guys on this conversation.
I mean, I've talked with Kid about this before too.
We're like all the decks so far that I've tried. So I've tried Choice Standby, I've tried Choice Pants, I've tried 8 Standby, and out of all of those, it's like I'm comparing like a 9.5 to a 9.4 to like a 9.2, and it's like it's really if I think all of these decks are really good. It's really difficult to be like, well, I think this one slightly barely falls like 1 centimeter in front of the other when they're passing the finish line.
Sure. So you're trying to more so say like, but you do think Saikano is like a good if the rest of these we were to say like let's say Slime and because we don't agree on anything. Nothing's a 10 out of 10 here, right? Because otherwise it'd be a tier 0 deck. So if we were to say like Saikano is a 9.8, you'd be saying like Slime, Grisaia, SAO, Konasuba are all like 9.6, 9.5s, and Dal just kind of inches its way in there.
No, that is not what I'm saying at all.
No,
I was talking about the different Dal builds being like 9.4, 9.3.
I misheard. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing all the Dal builds are like.
So I thought you were asking me about like my opinion of the Dal builds.
Yeah, I mean, I was more so asking how you felt 8 standby did, but okay, I misheard then.
Yeah, I think 8 standby is also strong, but like I think Choice Standby and 8 Standby are, even though they have a lot of the same cards, they are two completely wildly different decks because 8 Standby is extremely defensive. You're just like scrying and trying to like scum out like big cancels at level 1 because of the scries and like the look at 2 rearrange. Whereas choice standby, you're just like vomiting your hand, slamming down a climax, and just trying to push as much damage as you can almost every turn.
Okay, so now because like I'm mostly just asking you because you're the only other person that like feels anything similar to me with this, right? So I'm gonna ask you all the questions.
Sure.
So now when we were before when we were doing the list before, like Dean was very much on the thing that he thinks that whereas Saikano is strong because it's so uninteractive, that Day Live is one of the best in the game, like Saikano tier, because it's too interactive.
I would tend to agree with that. But I mean, like you see it in the card quality. So like
but do you think that it's? But you still think it's not like Saikano, like it's not like on par with Saikano, where it's like on equal ground? You think it's still like around where like SAO Konasuba would land on this tier list if you were to place it?
So I mean, so here's how I would like rate this tier right now. I would probably say Saikano, Dao, Slime, and Grisaia are all probably like right next to each other when it's vying for like the one of like best decks in the format, and then SAO 10th and Konasuba are like right immediately after.
But just not quite there.
Yeah, they're just not.
Okay.
They're pretty much there. They're just like couple of like.
Yeah, because when you said it first, you're like, yeah, I'd probably put it like right ahead of Konasuba, which is like when you're looking at it, right? Because when we were like looking at this, we didn't know how you exactly took the tier 1, right? That like you think that the top like 3 or 4 are all like right next to each other in terms of strength, right? Because a lot of people look at Saikano as like the best of the tier 1s.
Well, I mean, like right now, if Saikano runs into Dao, Saikano's gonna be
I do agree. If Saikano runs into Dao or runs into Grisaia, it's a pretty sad time.
Yeah.
I don't think it cares about Slime. It doesn't care about SAO Temp. It doesn't care about Konasuba. It just wants to play the same game.
Yeah.
But so yeah, sure. So I think with it a bit more explained, it makes a bit more sense. Because to say it's just ahead of Konasuba feels a little odd because we've been complaining about it so much, and on this thing, I don't know how much we've said it since like the recording got cut, but I know at least before that, a lot of things were being told. What about Data Live? I actually think without Dean here, it's been said a lot less. But Dean was constantly saying,
I think
what about Data Live
if you're running into like SAO 10th or whatever, this is like obviously like kind of matchup specific at this point though. So I don't even know if we even talk about the tier list.
Like, I think
let's say 8 standby runs into SAO 10th, and SAO 10th runs the Heathcliff, and they start answering your board. You're just actually like, damn, I can't play the game anymore.
I mean, I do think SAO 10 has a pretty hard time answering the 8 standby board, honestly.
Well, I think once they get to like level 2 and above, not really.
I mean,
they have all these various wildly.
They can usually out one lane. They can usually out one lane. Like Yu-Gi-Oh plus Asuna EP can usually out one of the lanes, but it usually means that like you're giving up 2 lanes to do so. So, I mean, I do think it can start to kind of dismantle your board, which is pretty frustrating. So I guess that's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of agree. Because I personally do think like Dao is very frustrating, and I said it before on like the other recording that I think Dao is one of the sets that I want to sit in front of the least. But I don't necessarily feel that it's like this like super pressing. It's just not fun to play against. That's what it comes down to. Whether it's strong or not, I just don't find it fun. It's not. It's just a set because it's.
I don't know about oppressive yet, but
yeah,
I think that time will tell with that. But
so
like
Charlotte,
it is
right?
Not fun to play against.
You know how I feel about Charlotte already. I've made this very
Charlotte's
clear.
also.
I still don't want to sit against Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because if I give them that game, the game just takes forever and it stops being fun. It becomes like a chore to actually finish the game. And I feel the same way. I don't feel the way about Saikano actually. Saikano is like it's kind of annoying, but like I don't ever sit there and I'm like, God, I gotta play against Saikano. This fucking sucks. Like this is awful. This isn't fun. Because they're just playing their own game. They're solitairing, and I'm just gonna play my game and probably solitaire, as long as I'm not playing some like honor verse combo, which most of these things aren't. So it's fine. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with putting it like, you could put it anywhere in those 4 and just the disclaimer.
I would say you can put it anywhere in those top 4, and I think it's completely fine.
And just put it like you put a disclaimer that it's like these are all basically the same strength. Like I don't think one is absurdly higher than the other by any means. They just do. Because
I think with down out here,
too, right?
you have the ability to keep Saikano's like a little bit more in check.
Yeah, I mean, I think having Grisaia and Dao exist does put Saikano in check pretty well. I do agree with that. Because like Grisaia is doing kind of the similar thing to Dal, right? Where Grisaia is kind of looking at you and telling you, you see this thing you're trying to do this game? You're not allowed to do that. You got to stop. So, sure, I can agree with that. I mean, I think Dal's like, I've always thought Dal was tier 1. That's not even like a question. But where you're placing it, I can be down with that.
So to like talk a little bit more about this before we finalize this, since this is the end. Like, my biggest thing about Dal is that it's so like, I'm gonna fucking do the Dean shit or whatever, but like I really think it's interactive enough to most people, and that it doesn't care about what other people are doing like 99% of the time, especially when like we've all agreed that the My Little Shido event is like busted in our eyes, that like anything outside of tier 1 struggles a lot against Dal, in my opinion. Do you guys disagree with that or no?
I think Albuta is pretty okay with playing against it, because Albuta's not really, they're not putting out like anything impactful that Dal stops, right? So I think that is one of the more favorable matchups. Dean has expressed that Lost Decade loses to it. I think Re-zero is okay, but I'd probably still rather not play it because it makes me have to warp my game plan to not be playing the EPs and stuff.
I think it's one of those.
But I think it's
one
okay.
of those things too, though. That,
playable.
Like, when Dal
doesn't care.
Dal plays
I don't
against
think
a set that doesn't care about what like what My Little Shido does to them, then suddenly Dal has
it just uses it for
suddenly
itself.
Dal has like this super hyper like, I can get out of any bad deck stake. I can find any card I need at any moment. Because like, once again, the biggest things that I think like push Dal over the edge is the event, obviously, and I think the blinker that also like sacks self top check 4 is like absurd.
I do think the blinker is a very frustrating card to deal with. I think my biggest issue is that your only consistent way to get the event is the combo for choice and drawing it.
Well, at the same,
so I've had plenty of games against Dal where they literally never get to see the event, right? Or they see it maybe like one of it, the whole game. So I've had those games happen, like plenty of times.
I think against choice, they
so
always have the event, usually at least 1 or 2 copies every game. But the thing about it too is that like lately I've seen Dal lists literally running 4 copies of the TD Arista or whatever, the top check ad and ditch.
Yeah, they're playing 4 Aries, and then they
have the event too, which is
strong,
like absurd.
Sure.
So like I don't think it's a thing you can just count out like.
Well, count out, no. I mean, I just think it's one of those things where it can fall into one of those like fail cases of Dal, right? Where it's like it needs this event to really like lock down some matchups, and sometimes you just don't find it because it's like you can only get so far without having like the bonder to it or something, right? So I do think it's one of those things you have to think about when you're looking at the event, and it's one of the few things that I think holds the event back from being like just actually just like too unfair to play against. It's like at least they don't have some like 100% way to grab this card when like on demand, right? Like imagine if they had a bonder or something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I could brainstorm the bonder, and now I have Little Shido.
Yeah,
that would be way too
like that'd be too much.
It's already way too easy to sculpt.
Imagine if you had like the slime bond thing to it.
Yeah, then that I think like the only solace is that they can't grab it 100% of the time. They can work towards it, make it easier.
They can sculpt it. But they can't grab it reactively.
My biggest thing about Dal right now is like, I mean, I've told you guys before, but I'm pretty high on Choice X, and I think Choice Pants is the way to go.
Yeah,
and like probably Choice Split Pants is like probably the end all be all.
I think it's too like Pepega. Like it's too just like straight up, just like you just do it.
Well,
like every single turn. Like I think it's like too easy.
The biggest strength to that deck is literally you tri-field every turn and nothing happens to your hand. And
yeah,
you get
exactly.
To the event, and you don't care what comes to your hand because whatever comes in your hand can turn into a different card, which is like really, really powerful in itself. But like I think the reason Choice is so good is because the extra hand size that you usually have to discard at the end of turn every turn lets you like use the events freely no matter what without hurting your hand. And then the big thing is that the 1-0 Choice combo gets the event to your hand. Like that's the reason I think Choice is good. If that event didn't exist, I probably wouldn't be playing Choice. I'd probably be playing Book Standby. Like honestly. So like go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think the way I want to leave Dal right now, because we talked about this in the other one too, where I just feel like Dal doesn't have it has something definitive, right? Which I think is a strength in its own way, but I do kind of want to see where the average list ends up being, right? It could end up just being this constant, 3 or 4 different variant thing where it's like and I think that makes it like pretty strong and pretty frustrating. I think if it ends up being, but I do kind of want to see if they condense down the list to maybe like 1 or 2 options, and then I think it becomes easier to look at its strength, right? Because if 8 standby becomes like the main play, and you're not seeing the Shido event, then all of a sudden I think Dal actually loses some strength. And maybe doesn't become like the best deck of the format.
Unfortunately,
right?
I think a lot of lists, like you guys said earlier, I've been seeing just no matter what list they're playing, they play like 3 to 4 of the My Little Shido event, which I think
they're trying to. Standby is trying. I just don't know if it's succeeding because it is very hard, and you do lose some standby, like some consistency to the deck to put it in there. But it might be worth it. It could be. I wouldn't really be too surprised.
I think like that alone just shows like the testament of how strong that event is, that like literally people in Japan are trying to fit this in lists that probably have trouble already fitting it in, right? Which might be a tell sign that like that event is like really good, like way too good. Oh
yeah, for sure. I mean, it could also just end up getting hit. I wouldn't be surprised if if Dal ends up having like somehow keeping this consistent like 30% rate there. You could actually see like an emergency ban or something to the deck if it becomes that unhealthy. I'm a little reluctant to think it's gonna happen, but I have to respect that.
I feel like the utility of it alone is the reason it's gonna get hit. But anyway, I mean, let's just try to wrap this up because we're kind of getting this long now.
Yeah, I think keeping it just saying for now it's probably of the same par because it's still so new seems pretty fair. But it's like I think it has a pretty decent chance of being higher if the builds settle out to being the maybe like the choice X with the Shido, or even if standby, if they figure out how to make the My Little Shido could work well in standby, it could be like a real thing. So I think for now it's like I kind of agree with Nico, where it's like you look at those first 4 and they're all probably like of the same power level at the moment. With like obviously each of them having their own strength in what they're doing, right?
So you guys, are you guys comfortable with putting like Dal second right now? Like I know last time we came down to the conclusion that we think, well, at least I think I convinced you guys or something. I don't really remember, but like that this is almost interchangeable right now. And then once Dal kind of settles, it might like settle like here or lower.
It could shift forward.
I don't think it's ever going to drop below tier 1 though, right? I think we're in agreement.
No, not something.
Just based on the card utility alone is.
There's no way.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so glad we're done. I can't wait to finish this video, look at the recording, and see that there's no audio again for some reason. But
oh no,
please no.
I mean, looking at this though, you guys are all cool with how this landed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no, it looks good.
More or less. Obviously, I have some slight disagreements.
I think if you have slight disagreements within the tiers,
I mean, me and you both do. But yeah, again, I mean, I'm willing to sit there and prolong this to be like, put this here.
I think now. One
Summer Pockets is tier 1.
I think one thing you're going to resonate before at the end is like literally, even though we like ordered these within the tiers within themselves are so small of gaps between each set that like all of these, you should consider everything in like tier 2 basically to be within the same power level. Everything in tier 1 to be within the same power level occasionally.
You don't have to feel bad playing one over the other.
Yeah.
Just kind of preference
the ordering is very loose. Outside of tier 1,
because it's even really hard to just be like, why is this higher than this? Because
tier 1 is probably
we have a slight preference for it, maybe.
Right? Right. Like our most strict ordering is probably tier 1.
Tiers are opinions. Dude, isn't even strict when we're sitting here saying like, yeah, top 4 probably all like.
It's like whatever.
Like, it's not even strict. It's like, again, just play what you want. Like, just use it as a rough guideline for like where if you wanted to play a set. Where like it falls if you were trying to play against somebody else. Like if somebody's gonna be like, I want to play Da Capo. Maybe you don't go whipping out like BB Love Live or Konasuba. Maybe you go and play like Memory Snow. And you give them a boost.
Use this list to influence your excuses for when you don't do well.
Yeah. Burn One said that my deck is an irrelevant tier, so I shouldn't feel bad that I lost to Fujimi.
All I know is I'm glad we spent like 2+ hours making a tier list and then at the end of the day we're like, yeah, this is an extremely bare bones just guideline. Very cool.
We're arguing about why things are higher than others. By the way, bare bones. Don't think about it too much. We just
gotta cover our bases.
Man, you can't help it, dude. People love the content where they can all rage and be like, your opinion's wrong. It's the best.
I can't wait for the comments.
Comments are the
best.
Yeah. Somebody will do it eventually.
Please fight us in the comments.
I think with that, guys, we're gonna call it quits here. I guess we'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Before you go, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel if you do enjoy our content, as it does help us grow, and check out some of these social media links below.